So I think I'm going to go back to an older style of video where I kind of just sit in front of my computer and talk about mice because I got in this cycle, right, where I wanted to make each video better than the last, and eventually the video just takes too much time to make and you get analysis paralysis, and I end up making the same video like 3 times and never posting it. So today I'm just going to talk about 2 mice that I have in my hands. I've been buying mice still and buying keyboards and mouse pads, but I just stopped making videos, but I'm just going to get over that and talk about these 2 today. So we have the XM2 8K and the OP1 8K, and I'm really interested in both of these. I've been using this OP1 for a little bit now, but I haven't used the XM2 at all. Actually, I had a what's it called? XM2 WE. Maybe it is. Hold on, I'm going to have to Google that for a second. But while I do, I'll also get this open and talk about my experiences with the OP1 8K. Because I've been using it for a little bit, but there's a reason why I have both on my desk right now, okay? Yeah, it's called the XM2 WE. So I have the XM2 WE, and it reminds me a lot of this OP1 8K, right? The reason why I bought an OP1 8K is because I was seeing it all over the place. It was like, oh my gosh, a wired mouse that's actually worth buying. And I'm like, that's crazy, because of the last probably 10 mice I've bought, I don't think I bought a new wireless one. I think I got a couple of used ones, like the I have the Viper 4K or 8K. I think they made a Viper 8K. So I have a Viper 8K that's wired. But people are talking a lot about this, and they didn't really care for the 8K. And I remember trying to play games with the 8K, and I was getting CPU issues. Like, you would get noticeably worse performance, and there's a little bit of that still with this, just because you're processing all those inputs. But in reality, I think we're at a point with processors and game performance where we can kind of power through that. Now, I'm having some other issues because I'm trying to hit 480 hertz, but besides that, I think these are real endgame wired mice. I mean, the difference from 1,000 to 4,000 really isn't that noticeable for me at all, especially if you're playing at lower DPIs. You have to get at least like 1,600 DPI, 3,200 DPI before you actually start sending enough updates per second from your mouse that should actually be going to your computer to actually saturate that polling rate. So there's actually like a difference, in what your mouse is seeing. Basically, your resolution has to be higher, and that's what CPI DPI is, that resolution and of a signal. So anyways, I was using this guy for a while, and this is the OP1. I got it in the white color like everyone else did, and I really loved, let's talk about this first, how they wrapped it in the box. So the cable normally when you get a mouse is like coiled in maybe a little band around it, but this is nice and loose. When you bring it out of the box, it just slides right out, and it's already ready to go. It's already straight. You don't need to like straighten this. You don't need to like, I used to lay these out with a little bit of tension just to get them to be straight, but no, you can play with this right out of the box. I love that attention to detail. I think that's great. The mouse feels really great in the hand. The texture is really good. The pads are just all right. Really easy DPI button on the bottom. I think it opened up and it was already 800 DPI. And overall use of the mouse, I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I thought it felt really responsive, just a placebo effect of an 8K mouse. But I know that every single time that I'm getting the maximum performance out of that mouse sensor. And that is what people are buying these mice for, right? They're buying it because they are getting the absolute most performance out of that mouse sensor that you can right now. And that's what they're for, right? This isn't a new shape. This isn't groundbreaking. This isn't anything that we haven't seen before as far as the rest of the feature set. But for the 8K polling rate at this consistency in a form factor and for a mouse that you can just go and buy for about $100 US, this is it, right? This is where things are going to. If you're making a wired mouse and it's not a value-oriented mouse, it's a high-end wired mouse, it should be 8K at this point. It should be at least 4K, because that's the demand, right? If not that, then get a wireless mouse, because there's a lot of good options in the sub $100 price range, and even just over $100. Like you talk about the Beast X mouse that I did a review on a while ago. I mean, that thing's $160, and it's made of magnesium. It's absolutely like cutting edge there, and it's got the 4K report rate. It's got a final mouse type shape. I mean, if you're competing with that and you had a wire, like, there's no way. Let me grab a knife and I'll be right back. All right, I got a knife. Now we're going to talk about why I have the XM2 8K. Because they're both 8K mice, why did I need to try them both? I could get the experience out of one. Well, I bought the OP1 because everyone was talking about it. And then I looked and said, hey, I like this mouse. I like the way it feels. I like the way that it feels very premium, and everything is great end to end. The software is very lightweight, but the shape's not for me. I have big hands, right? You look at this thing, these big hands, it's not happening, right? I tried to learn to fingertip this mouse. I actually performed better. My aim scores went up a little bit. I felt good. It's just not how I want to grip a mouse. And you know how I do want to grip a mouse is more similar to the Lamzu Atlantis, something like this. Larger sides, more grip width. For me, in these large hands, I can hit like a 13th on the piano. And I've also been playing a lot with this, and maybe I should make a full video on everything about my grip when talking about this. But yeah, this is a heavily modified Ultralight X that just sits on my desk because this thing is as close to my end game as I've got. But this is supposed to be a wider mouse. So anyways, I'll talk about this in another video, but we are going to go over the XM2 once I get it open. Now, I haven't really used a lot of Endgame Gaming Gear's products. I have used the XM2WE, which is I think a cheaper version of their XM2, but now they don't, what's it called? Oh, but now I don't have that one because my girlfriend likes that mouse. And I think that one size-wise is a little bit more similar to what I'm looking for. So let's see, this one is a wider mouse. That's what I wanted. And it does come in with a cable that is all bundled up like this, and that's not super great. Like I said, this should be the way that everyone goes. I like this box. It's very, very good. I do not like this box as someone who has owned multiple mice and buys multiple mice a year. The way that this box is flimsy. This box is hard and nice. This box requires you to take out the full thing to take out the mouse. This you take off the top and it's ready to go. Everything is all good and safe in there. If you can see that mouse cut out, it's kind of hard to see because of the light. But this is the way we want to go, right? Anyways, let's compare the two. So you got some extra skates, you got a warranty in here, yada, 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 just normal stuff. This is a review of the OP1 and just an unboxing of the XM2. So, like I said, everything with how I feel with the OP1, I feel like it's the best sensor you can get. I feel like it's the best update rate, but the shape is not for me. If you have large hands and are not purely fingertipping this is not going to be for you if you're like me. But if you like this shape, it's a very safe shape, kind of like an egg, you know, just like everything else. A little bit nice in the grip width, a little bit wider in the back. But overall, you can look at ELO shapes and just know what this mouse is all about. If the shape works for you and you are going with a wired mouse, feel confidence that this is probably the best sensor experience you can get right now. Especially if you're playing games on a higher DPI and you're really going for like aim lab scores or something. I mean, this one's it. So let's talk about this XM2. And I've never actually held an XM2 because this feels very different than that XM2WE. And maybe I'm just crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the XM2 being like this. I don't remember it being this good in my hand. I remember it being more similar to the OP1. So maybe I'm going crazy. But that was a wireless mouse. This is a wired mouse. And for that trade-off, you get 8K polling. So this one is what I really want to compare it to is the size of my Lamzu Atlantis. It's about the same. Actually, the Endgame gear is a little bit narrower on the bottom side with a little bit of a heavier taper towards the top. This will give you more ability to grip that mouse and bring it up off the table. Nice far back hump for me. It's kind of hard to see here, but the hump on the XM2, let me see if I can get it to focus. There you go, is further back, which is good if you claw grip the mouse. Also good for me if you just have longer hands, where the hump or the height of your mouse needs to be larger because your fingers are longer. So that's always a good thing to look for too. There's not just like palm size, it's like finger size, grip width, like your ability, your whole hand you should take into consideration. If you're like me and you're trying out a lot of different mice because you don't really know, you can adapt to something else, but there are shapes that are going to suit you better. Like, I'm not saying there's a perfect shape for everyone, but there are pros and cons that you will be aware of over time the more mice you use. So I've already rambled for about 10 minutes here, so I'm going to cut this one a little bit shorter. The OP1, like I said, my piece on there, but I'm really excited to try this XM2 with the 8K. I already feel that this is way more comfortable for me in my palm. It's just, yeah, this is going to be nice. I think I'm going to return the OP1. It's just not going to work for me. I'd rather only have one 8K mouse. They did release a OP1 in this special limited edition purple color that I think is really neat. It's like a frost purple. They also have 2 different frost variants of this. This is just a plain black because that's what I wanted. But yeah. Oh, let's talk about pad configuration. Here's what the pads look like on this mouse. This mouse. Here's what the pads look like here. We got some extra stabilizers on the side because it's not a full width pad, because it's got the little screws down here. Whereas this one, it looks like if you were to need to unscrew this and take this apart, you would be taking pads off. It also has the available space for full width pads, so different pads will fit on here, but this is probably what I'll stick with because I'm not too worried about it. If anything, I'll put some Tiger Eye dots on it and call it a day. So yeah, that's it. I'm back to making some videos, and hopefully I start posting a little bit more.